dinner. redmovenevada.com for full information. So Cameron Hawkins, running for lieutenant governor, will be being interviewed today by Kris Swanson from Independent Nevadans.
That's me.
Go ahead, take it away.
All right, Cameron.
He wants this.
He wants that. It's the most important thing.
ourfreedomofchoice.com.
Yeah, ourfreedomofchoice.com is actually our foundation. It's our PAC for nonprofit. We actually work with Republicans from the local state level to the federal level in every state.
What are your requirements to receive contributions from your PAC?
Actually, the nice thing about you need to want to support the Republican Party.
Okay.
Mainly. So therefore, we can assist the Republicans that are candidates.
Okay.
And that's sort of why we made the PAC. Also, we made it for other things, like we also are the founders of RepublicanGolfClassic.com. So we actually do golf tournaments. Like we just did a great one in Sparks. It was phenomenal.
Where was that? Wild Creek or?
No, it was actually at Kylie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, now our next one is this month here in in May, May 20th at our Republican Golf Classic, North Valleys, Nevada.
Okay.
So that's the western side of the state.
Okay.
Then we take off and go down to Prump, and then we take off and go down to Henderson.
Okay.
And it's only one candidate per whole sponsorship, so it's quite fascinating.
Yeah. So you've worked basically your whole life in media, right? Aside from military?
Yeah, well, I started Leaders and Candidates in 1981, and that's a consulting firm for people running for office, and we work with people in every state in America.
Did you want to do that when you were a kid?
Yeah, actually I was a junior achievement president, yeah. I started off working with people, being a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout, things like this. And then all of a sudden one day the state said, hey, we're going to bring the Freedom Train that's coming across the nation to Phoenix, Arizona. But it was geared to go to the Grand Canyon.
The Freedom Train.
1976, the bicentennial. Before your time there.
I'm 2 years before my time.
That's okay. So, and it was like $1 million to get that train to come to your town, to alter its path. And it was going to go to the Grand Canyon because they thought tourism or whatever would be really, very cool for them. So I said, well, let me see if I can raise the money. And they said, son, what are you talking about? And I said, I think we can do this. I think we can bring it through Mesa. I think we can bring it through Tempe, Arizona, my hometown, go to ASU, and then go into Phoenix, the state capital. And they said, well, we need to raise that money. And I said, well, I have an associate of mine. Maybe he can do a free concert and donate the money. He's a veteran, and he's a very, very proud man. And so we did. Johnny Cash and his wife did a free concert for us in 1976.
How old were you in 1976?
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade. So you were friends with Johnny Cash in the 8th grade?
Well, from 7 years old till I was about 31. Then our worlds changed completely, yeah. He was a great guy.
Where did you get to know Johnny Cash?
Basically Tempe, Arizona. We had horses and such. I used to date Apache girls and ride Brahmas when I was 9, 10, and 11. I was a wild little guy trying to be a cowboy. I know real cowboys. I've never been a real cowboy. Real cowboys, I have my hat off to you. I just love the country, the cowboy lifestyle, and I also like right's right, wrong's wrong. That's a great way to live. And I'm an outdoorsman, so I'm always around things related to the cowboy lifestyle, actually, yeah.
So did you run for student office and all that stuff?
Actually, I won student president, and I gave it to the vice president. He would have done a much better job, so I gave it to Harold.
Wow, Harold. Are you guys still friends?
No. Harold, I think he's a principal now, actually, in a high school.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. I haven't been back to Tempe, Arizona, where I was raised, in quite a while. I graduated class 81.
Wow.
And then I went in the Navy. Did that kind of stuff when I was 21. Yeah.
And you went into the Navy. What? I wanted to go in because I wanted to fly a fighter jet.
Well, that's because you saw Top Gun.
Well, I saw Top Gun, and I thought Mach 2 is for me. I'm an adrenaline junkie. But I thought I was in love, so I didn't do it. But what was it for you? Just patriotism?
Well, there's many things happened to me when I was very, very little. My grandfather was probably one of my biggest influences. He was Zane Grey's bodyguard before World War II. And then he was Cagney Productions bodyguard. So Cagney, all three Cagney brothers in Hollywood, things like this. And when we were kids, we'd go to Newport, and we weren't wealthy or anything like that, but we'd be sitting at Newport. And whenever my grandfather stood up, I'd stand up. And I remember this one gentleman come walking over in a blazer and everything and a swag and just doing his own thing. And he goes, so, Joseph, is this your grandson? And he goes, yes, Bob. And he goes, okay. And so he's talking, and he goes, so when you go up and become a man, what branch of the service you going in? I said, I'm going to go in the Navy. And I said, what branch did you go in? He goes, I never did. Oh, so you never grew up? That's Bob Hope.
Oh, that's funny.
And of course,
Wow.
America gave Bob Hope an actual military, they gave him a recognition of American citizenship and also a recognition in the armed forces for all the services he did. He's a Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
I
was
didn't know he was Canadian?
He was a prize fighter.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he's an amazing guy.
Huh. So you start
for
raising
me-
money for candidates.
So all this stuff, I'm always around Republicans.
Okay.
And I'm always around Democrats. And I can tell the difference instantly.
Is Tempe, Arizona a pretty red area?
Arizona's red.
In general, it's red. In
Arizona's
Tempe,
the
too?
old Wild West.
Okay.
It
Well,
really-
Nevada used to be a red state, and that changed.
Well, it's still, no, it's not, didn't change. All these are lies. All these are lies. The whole
I don't know.
country went red, brother.
My neighbors are all hanging onto their California plates.
No, what I'm saying is people that are independent and people that live the life they want to live, as long as it's not offending others, that's an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that leans really heavy towards Republicans. Republicans, they normally don't get involved because they think everything's going to be okay, because nothing's really going to affect them. And it's tough. It's very tough, because when I was a little boy, if somebody wanted to go to college, well, you went to college because you wanted a degree, so therefore your degree is related to the state. So if you want to be a doctor, or you want to be, lawyer or something like this. But most of us, I was making $100 a day at 7 years old,
What were you doing at 7 years old?
working at a dude ranch, assisting people.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I met Johnny. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he showed up one day and played his guitar. We all listened to him, and came back a few years later, and I started working with the man whenever he'd come to Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, had all kinds of fun. But the Republican Party, I have an office in D.C. I used to, when I was in the Navy, here's a little story I think you'll like. There's a ranch in northern Arizona, and they raise honey, but from mesquite plants. So it tastes different. Okay, and also if you like honey, you should really have honey that's indigenous to your area,
Right.
because of the pollen and things like this, the nature. So there's this cowboy, and this cowboy is riding, and I'm riding, and they just went out and did the doggies and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just going, no, I'm good, I'm done, and they don't need me anymore. And he says, you hungry? And I said, I'm starving. So we went over to the kitchen and asked the ladies if we could work in the kitchen, and he showed me how to make cowboy coffee.
Okay.
Showed me how to make eggs for a ranch of like 40 people, and like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds of bacon, all at the one time. And it's Reagan.
Wow.
I didn't know who the guy was. He was already the governor twice, and he already was this actor, and I just thought he was a nice guy working at the ranch.
Wow.
Right. So we kept up a friendship, and then when I went in the Navy, years later, I was 20 years old, and I'm watching the news. The Marines barracks just got bombed, and there's Reagan. And I'm like, what happened to me? Why didn't I go in? I was always going to go in the military. No, I'm just going in open contract Navy. And normally you go through MEPS and everything. It takes weeks and process and all stuff. No, I was in boot camp in 3 days. I was gone. That was it.
And what was that like?
It was 12 weeks of people messing with you. But it's to basically get you focused on how to do some kind of job or some kind of lifestyle on board ship. And when I was halfway through, on my 5th week, going to my 6th week, they said, Hawkins, you're actually now going to another boot camp after this. You're going to Washington, D.C. You've been selected one of 4 men in the world for a Presidential Honor Guard opportunity.
Whoa.
And it's an opportunity because it's another boot camp. And this boot camp's completely different than a regular boot camp.
Okay.
This is really Lords of Discipline lifestyle. I mean, you have to be beyond discipline. Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, pay attention to detail.
Okay.
Like nonstop.
Okay.
24 hours a day, you're in a new uniform. If they want you in a uniform, you got to be in the uniform. The uniform has to pass inspections, but not at a C or B or A level. It has to be 100%. Little things like we dare wear dungaree shirts that we actually have to starch
Okay.
when I was in. And I used to have quite large arms as a young man. And I would get a little bit of sweat on my arm. That meant I dirtied the uniform of the United States government because I sweated in my uniform.
Right.
Yeah, no, you can't do that in the honor guard. Not in the presidential honor guard.
So just start wrapping yourself in saran wrap or what?
Can't do that either. No, you just have to, they just constantly stay on you to keep you mentally patient, mentally focused. And all of us normally have these skills before we get there. Very, very few men and women rock out, in other words, don't do well. They all already have these kind of skills, and it's quite fascinating.
But you were only halfway through boot camp when you got pulled into this thing.
Yeah, one of 4 men in the whole Navy.
Dude.
I was, for my first
Were you terrified?
No.
That's a big deal.
No, I was taught Budo. Budo, not Buddhism, but Budo martial arts when I was 6 until I was 14. There is no such thing as fear in life. It's respect.
I've never heard of Budo.
It doesn't exist anymore. It's long, long gone.
What was it about?
It's all about protecting, the upper class, that kind of stuff. But I'm sure you heard of Reiki.
Yeah.
Reiki is Budo.
Oh.
Okay, it was related. But Reiki was only taught to the warrior class. And it's only about energy, so you can understand energy and, you can slow yourself down, you calm yourself down. And my biggest advantage in my life is I've always been very calm and I've always been very confident. And then I don't do anything without a purpose. So if I don't see the purpose clearly, then I ask people to explain the purpose to me again if it's their purpose. If it's my purpose, well, it's very clear to me what I want to accomplish. And that's what I've done in my life. I retired when I was 32 years old in business. Yeah.
You retired?
Yeah, I retired a lot.
But you still have all these magazines?
Well, I just stay busy. I've never married. I have no children.
So that's more of a hobby?
It's just my passion.
Okay.
Yeah, no, when a very famous man said, you never should turn your hobby into a business. You'll do terrible. And Warren Buffett. And he says you need about 7 streams of income or you'll be poor. Well, I'm sort of past the 7 streams of income. But it cracked me up when he, every Sunday, he would go to Dairy Queen with his family, with his grandkids. And I remember, and one of the grandkids, this is how the story goes, said, "Grandpa, do you own the ice cream store too?" So he bought Dairy Queen.
Really?
Yeah, he bought it a couple of years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you saw the commercials where the planes pull up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Warren Buffett stuff.
I did it.
That's his mindset.
Wow.
He's a very interesting guy. When I was in media, quite high up in media, I was number 4 in the world at the time. 26 newspapers in this country, 16 magazines around the world, and a printing press for every one of them.
How do you manage all that?
People.
Okay.
I love people. I don't employ people. I prefer to empower people to actually have their own companies. When people are employed, I think that's fantastic. I think that hopefully they found their life dream, their life goals, and that's what they want to do. But when I was raised, no, I didn't see it that way at all. I saw if you want to learn something, you learned it to better your community, better yourself, better your country, whatever you're going to do. But you really need to find your passion. It's like you. You clearly found your passion, or you wouldn't be sitting here interviewing me. That's all there is to it. I mean, you picked this over flying jets.
Well, I don't know. I might go back to flying jets. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so for me, I enjoyed the Cub Scouts, Webelos, Boy Scouts. I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed, getting the badges and seeing the challenges in front of us. I capped out in all my stuff before I was a tenderfoot. And they just went, well, there's nothing really for you to do except move up, the rankings. And I'm like, I'm just going to move on.
So you retired at 32 from the military or for something
from
else?
myself.
From yourself. What were you doing at 31?
I was number 4 in the world in media.
So was running your newspapers was the primary 26 newspapers?
Magazine, over 200 radio stations around the world, TV stations, my own syndicated radio
When did you get your first radio station?
That probably would have been when I just got out of the Navy, and it was it was 1414 FM in Phoenix, Arizona. And these guys are great guys. It's a family business. They've had it forever. And I walked in and I said, I know that you guys just run a lot of 24-hour comedian shows. That's sort of what it was about. It was sort of interesting. And the jokes were fun, that kind of stuff. Nothing rude, and but funny. And it was a great platform for new artists. And so I met them, and I said, well, I'd like to start a talk show here, and how much will that cost me for a month? And they said, well, you're going to be here for an hour once a week? And I said, sure. And they said, okay, well, with our administrative assistants and staff and everything, it's going to be about $1,400 a month. And I'm thinking, okay, their station is 1440 or 1440. And I'm thinking, what's with this guy with his
14s?
With his 14s, right? And I said, okay. And I said, so how much would it cost for me to actually take over the whole station for the month? He said $1,400, the same dollar amount.
Spectacular.
And I went, okay.
So what do you do when someone hands you keys to the transmitter?
You talk to someone who actually knows how to work the transmitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what'd you get?
I got schooled. I got a lot of education. I brought in the universities. I brought in, back in those days, Walter Cronkite's school was happening in Tucson, and ASU was giving him a place in Phoenix. So media was all around me at the time, and so I just tried to assist people in their goals in media, and they'd come in and educate. We'd do workshops and stuff like that.
How long between your first conversation and when you took over the radio station?
A week.
1 week.
Yeah, less than a week. That same week, actually, yeah.
So half of 14 days.
Probably. But
It's such a crazy story.
But it's just people.
That's such a crazy story.
But that's normal. That's just normal.
That's
life.
not normal. Nobody takes over a radio station in a week.
Well,
That's wild.
if they hand you the keys
Okay, for $1,400
for
$1,400
a month,
and they kept the transmitter. You did an LMA and just
and it actually expanded upon that. And all I had to do was just run things through my corporation.
wow.
Yeah.
So
And
what
I've
about
always been-
ad sales? How'd that work?
Oh, I've always been in people. I've always been around people.
So you went and sold the ads, or you hired people?
No, you had to talk to me because
Okay.
I want to make sure you had quality in the production side. And that's
Okay.
what actually helped me a lot in media and all my media genres is I do not do business with everybody.
Okay.
If someone says they're number one in this, I go, okay, show me, why, and they can't show me why. I'm like, okay, well then, all right, so that's your goal then, probably to be number one. Yeah, it's our goal. Okay, well, thank you for being honest. So how about this? Why don't we use your face and put your face in print, even though we're on radio? Well, because I was in print before I was in radio, just to let you know. And so why don't we make sure that your face is out there and people have access to you, and then that way they can approach you.
So you leveraged your knowledge in newspapers. Probably, did you already own a newspaper in that market?
Yeah, many at that time.
Okay. So you used that as the platform to kind of launch your new radio station as you took over.
Other medias.
Okay.
Direct marketing as a media.
You did direct mail at the time?
Yeah, actually, Brian Tracy was a client.
Wow.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar was a good friend of mine. For the older people that remember Zig Ziglar, he was a great friend of mine. When he'd come to Phoenix, Arizona, he would take the back of my quarterly business review. And the quarterly business review outgrew the local Phoenix Business Journal. It only took us 3 years. And they were around for 116 years, and we outgrew them in paid circulation in 3 years. And Zig really liked our audience because we were mailing our newspaper before the phone book would show up at the new phone lines that were being turned on.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just creative, and working with people that are creative and accomplishing things together. Becoming lieutenant governor for the state. Okay, how do I qualify? Well, we publish majority of the tourism publications in the state. We're the most read tourist publications now in the world on accident. We started with the Great Basin Highway, and after 3 years of that, I decided to become a nonprofit, Hawkins for Nevada Foundation, and merge that and change that name to Great Basin Magazine. In 6 months, we went from 1.6 million to 2.2 million online subscribers for free in 160 countries. But what happened here is even more unique. We were about 800,000 emails in the state. We went to 1.9 million in the state. That's more than half of the population of the state.
Yeah.
Right.
How'd you do that?
People want it.
So you didn't do a drive to get more email subscribers?
I believe in merit.
Okay.
I believe in merit in many, many things. When I was a young man, people would want to pay me hourly to do things. And I'd say, well, if that just needs to be accomplished, can I just accomplish it? And they'd say, well, you're going to need this, need this, need this. And I said, okay. So I tell you what it's going to cost, and then you go buy it and give it to me, and then we put it into play. And so it's almost always been that way, where I prefer to work on merit on anything. I would prefer to franchise, like when I franchised Search Local, Buy Local, local newspapers, only 16 pages, local newspapers that full-page ads were $10,000 a year. You paid in advance. And our franchisees made 93% commission.
Wow.
No one does that in the world.
No.
No, it's unheard of completely.
Yeah.
Because they just want you because you have a good education or because you have a good credit score and you can give them a couple of $250,000 here or $1 million and you get a franchise. No, the way we set it up was these are people that really like their communities, and it was $1,500 for a franchise, $1,500, and you had to buy 3 territories, and over that course, every quarter you come out with another publication. So once you have your 3 publications up and running in 3 different territories, you're set. You're doing this. This is your life. You're going to the chamber. You're doing your functions. You're in your Rotary. You're going to your church. You're living your life, and you're enjoying your life. If you're a soccer mom or whatever, whatever it is, and you're assisting these businesses in their goals and their objectives. And the newspaper is being mailed to a planned community golf course, gated community only. So we didn't sell it all over America.
Wow.
You see, we did the niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that mentored another company right now that's actually completely has that market now in print magazines. Yeah, I mentored them for a couple of years.
So this is well outside of politics, but you're getting 7% for you handling the printing, you're handling the mailing, all that, or they'd still handle that?
No, we would charge them $500
Okay.
a month. Excuse me, $500 a week for printing, and then that would be layout and design. And then we would charge them, and that included the mailing. But there's a lot of things people don't know. It's like here, this is a bumper sticker. That's our campaign, but this is actually not my campaign. It's the campaigns we do for a lot of other people. This is our PAC. It's called ourfreedomofchoice.com. Starts with you.
Why did you decide to do that?
Well, this kind of printing is still needed.
Yeah.
Okay, and also we have this on over 100,000 cars in Nevada already now.
Wow.
Yeah,
but what
so
I mean is the PAC itself. What
PAC
inspired
is very important to me.
Yeah.
Because I've been assisting Republicans for so long, and we're doing golf tournaments. They want to advertise in our magazines, all kinds of things. And I said, well, let's just slow this thing down. Why don't we just focus on not a super PAC? For those of you that don't know, a super PAC, if you set up a super PAC, you actually, when you raise money, you actually can't talk to the candidate you're supporting.
Really?
And you also can't talk to the candidate that's actually, if you're using that money to slander, to push someone away from your candidate, you can't talk to that person either. And you also can't give them money. All you can do is advertise. So I'm sitting here going, wait a second. I've been in media forever. I know how much things cost to print. This thing costs more than a newspaper. I can do a 16-page newspaper, 3,000 print, for $312. Full color every page. That's what a newspaper costs.
But stickers are a different story.
Some people would charge up to $2 for one of these things.
Wow.
Right. It's like here, this is a little magazine we make every 2 years that lists every single candidate that's a Republican in the state of Nevada. And then we email it to our full database and we print it and we give it out to people. This one's yours. That's from 2 years ago. Our new one's in print right now.
So we have candidates, just little...
Every candidate that was running
page,
in 2020.
One page, and they're all the same. I don't see any advertisers in here.
No advertisers allowed.
How do you make money on this?
I don't.
You don't?
That's something you do.
This is paid for by the PAC?
No, that was before I had the PAC.
Oh.
No,
this is just something you just did.
That's just something I want to do because I own leaders and candidates.
You get your most interesting man in the world pose in the front page. I like that.
Yes, I do have my own cigar company.
Cigar, the whole
I started
bit.
my own cigar company in '83. Yes,
you have a cigar company
and a coffee company.
Why haven't we hung out yet? I don't get it. And a coffee company?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, Kris. Hi, I'm Kameron Hawkins.
Hi, Kameron.
Okay. In 2014, I had 5 strokes in 6 months, paralyzed twice, couldn't walk or talk.
Oh my God.
I'm ornery as hell, brother.
In what year?
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
So how do you recover from that?
You just work on it.
What did it do?
I'm blessed. I mean,
What did
I
it do
believe
to
in
you?
God. I'm a God-fearing man.
Did you get the whole, half your face go limp and all that?
Half the body.
Everything?
Yeah, I couldn't walk or talk, and I was a mess.
How long did it take to recover?
Well, I saw things coming because they let me know. They let me know I had a tumor on my adrenal gland.
Whoa.
Right, and I gained 160 pounds in 1 year. That's why I'm still sort of a heavy guy, because I only have one adrenal gland. I took one off, had one removed, it had a tumor in it. And I used to be like a world-class in athlete, especially in the Navy, the stuff I did in the Navy.
Wow.
So all that just went away, and I gained that 160 pounds in less than a year, back when I was living in Arizona. And we just focused. Whatever, the VA saved my life. I'm a veteran, and the VA literally saved my life. And so whatever they said, we tried. And some of those things just didn't work. So then I would fight against it. Hello, ladies. That's the management here.
Yeah. Did you do the whole chemo and everything?
No,
Just took it out.
No, we actually figured out my blood pressure was 226 over 216 on the low, and 295 or 236 on the high for 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
Wow.
In every month. And I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel different. And but they said anytime you're just going to pop. And eventually it happened. I had 4 strokes in my right brain, lower right brain, and 1 stroke in my left lower brain. And next thing I knew, I'm happy I made the flashcards. I did. I put flashcards on my boots, my pants, everything in the bathroom. And it didn't really help me because I didn't know what words were and I didn't know what letters were.
Holy cow.
So people actually had to say those words to me, and then eventually it all kicked in.
Wow. Are you married?
No, I've never married, no
Not
children.
married, no kids.
No.
So who's taking care of you during all this?
People.
You just friends and...
Well, no. For me, it's associates. For me, I'm a cigar guy. Not a lot of people are cigar guys. I have a saying. If you want to, it's real simple. If you smoke cigars in the wilderness, you keep away the bugs. If you smoke cigars in public, you keep away the pests. That's not going to give me any votes. I understand that.
Yeah.
No, but my relationships are normally lifelong.
Yeah.
And recently I lost a lot of really key people in my life. We make movies as well.
Really?
Yeah, Hawkins for Nevada Foundation. We own the Nevada Film Institute. And that's basically just a consulting firm. There's no money driven through that at all. Just to assist people. And, don't come to Nevada and just set up shop and start doing movies. Go talk to the Institute. Go talk to the PO. Go talk to the state. Make sure you're not in Area 51. Okay.
Yeah. Are you helping people get tapped into the film credit and all that?
Everything, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm actually in MBI. I'm actually ranked up there with movies and such. Let's see, our last short film we made, my director passed on. He passed away in October. But in August, we made Long Branch Saloon Shootout up in Virginia City where I live. And that was great. A little 17-minute short. A lot about the director, talking about his past and his accolades, which is what we wanted. So that was 7 minutes of the 17. And then we went into behind the scenes where we're under instructions, under this, under that. People are picking on each other, having fun with each other. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This kind of stuff. And did you say, anyone say action? And then finally we made the little short film of the shootout. And we were going to use that little vignette to actually launch his featured movie he was doing, but he never got a chance to finish it. But I'm honored that I own it, and I travel. Be exact, this month, the Sparks Republican Women have me speaking, and we're actually going to show that movie.
Wow.
So that's not normal for a candidate to show you a movie, right?
No, but have you submitted it yet? We have a Cordillera International Film Festival right here in Reno, and it's top 100 film festival in the world.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's really taken off. You should submit it if you haven't yet.
They don't want it because it's not 20 minutes long.
No, shorts.
I know. Nowadays, believe it or not, the shorts have to be 20 minutes.
No.
I know. I'm being lied to.
I'm on the board of directors.
Thank you. I'm being lied to. I know I'm being lied to.
No, it has to be under 20 minutes.
Right.
Under.
Right.
It's how many minutes is it? 17.
It's 17.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, they might not accept it. It's really, really tough to get in because people are submitting from all over the planet now. It's gotten really crazy.
Well, I've been supporting you guys for a long time. I own short films.
I have no say in the matter. I don't get to pick anything. I haven't even submitted anything. They've asked me to submit a couple things, but I have no say. I find out when the official selections happen.
Well, Kris, now you found out how I live.
Okay.
I meet people, I find out what they do, and I see if I can assist it. If they have a business, I'm all in. I mean, I really love it. If I can assist a business with their goals and objectives, I'm happy. I'm in bliss.
Which takes you to Lieutenant Governor, because that's the primary job of Lieutenant Governor, is developing business in the state of Nevada, right?
And tourism. And that's what I'm known for around the world, is tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah, our magazines, it's uncanny because all I want to do is just make the Great Basin highway. Because when I was a little boy, little Cub Scout, we went up to Mount Wheeler and went up there to the Boy Scout ranch that the president actually was a part of developing himself, Mr. Roosevelt. And I'm looking around at the magazines, the old magazines that are up there that people just spent their time, newspapers. And I said, "Where's your Nevada highway?" What? The park ranger.
Yeah.
What? And I said, "I'm from Arizona. We have the Arizona Highway." And that's an amazing magazine. I mean, all these people from Arizona have taken photos, and it's gone all over the world. That magazine at one time actually outgrew the National Geographic in paid circulation.
Wow.
At the Arizona Highway, yeah. And so that was interesting. But so I was like, "Well, where's your Nevada?" And they said, "Well, we don't have such a thing." I said, "Well, what about Great Basin?" I mean, this is the Great Basin. You just showed us the oldest tree in the world. Okay, we're on horseback and we're doing stuff. I said, "What about a magazine called Great Basin?" And they go, no such. And I said, there had to have been. So I did some research, and there had been some magazines called Great Basin, but they were normally like newsletters and things like this. They didn't actually make an income for the publisher or whoever the steward was. And so he says, "Well, why don't you make one?" So years and years later, I come all the way out here. I move out here, and I just go ahead and open up, and I make the Great Basin Highway. And we grew that to 1.6 million in 3 years. And that helped us with our gun shows. And that we put on gun shows. And that helped us. Yeah, it helped us with firearm owners today. We're 3 times larger than the NRA. We're 3 times larger than the NRA in California, Nevada, and Arizona combined. We have a huge database of firearm people. Be exact, when the governor announced that he was going to shut down all the gun stores, that didn't really happen up in northern Nevada. They just sort of laughed at it. No, we're not shutting down a gun store.
Good luck, we have all the guns.
It's not going to happen, okay? And they were actually down there with the police and sheriff's department and everybody, shutting down these gun stores, and people were standing in line to get ammo. No, it's all against the law. There's a law that was passed here in the 1980s by the people of Nevada saying you can never, ever stop us from buying and selling guns or buying and selling ammo legally.
Yeah.
So I asked an attorney, probably the best attorney in California and Nevada, for anything to do with firearms, anything related to firearms, shooting, accidental shooting, anything, someone robbing you, whatever. That's the guy. And I said,
who is he? You want to give him a shout out?
I can't give him a shout out. He's an attorney. Got to watch those attorneys.
They love free press.
Mr. Green.
All right.
Yeah, Mr. Green. He's an amazing man. And he says, "Well, I'll look into it." And he looked into it, and sure enough, he wrote a beautiful letter. And he shot that letter out to all of the sheriff's departments and to the governor. And within no time at all, that was over with. We published that. We actually published that in one of our magazines. It will never fall out of publication. We'll always publish that here in the state of Nevada.
Yo, we want to end this? Atlantis is kicking us out? Is the Atlantis kicking us out of here? Yeah. Yeah? All right. Well, so before we go.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me?
I'm just a down-to-earth guy that enjoys doing what I do. I'm an American. I have a birth certificate. I'm probably overqualified for running for office. I actually have a birth certificate. I'm American. I'm a Republican, but I'm actually a Reagan Republican, a Reagan old Republican, and I'm also a veteran. And it's been known in all my times in the military and such is that whenever I pass, there's no name needs to be on my tombstone. Just says American, Republican, and veteran. And I don't really care where that tombstone is in the world because I love the whole world. And I've been to every continent in the world. I've been to North Pole, South Pole in my lifetime. I've done many, many things. But before we shut down completely, the lieutenant governor, whoever that is, whoever becomes lieutenant governor, I hope they empower and I hope they enrich the actual employees in the state that have been there. because these are unsung heroes. These are people that have dreams and have passions for our state, or they would have moved on. So I can hardly wait to meet those people. And we do our own county fairs. We're a county. If they don't have their county fair, we actually put a county fair on for their county. So we're out there. And that's called Hawkins for Nevada Foundation, 501c3. And that website is hawkinsfornevada.com. And then and that also publishes all of our magazines and golf tournaments and everything we do. But then our other nonprofit is the PAC, and that is ourfreedomofchoice.com. And we're really empowered with that right now. We're raising awareness. We're raising some money for candidates that are running for office that are Republicans. We just did a great one in Sparks on April 29th. Our next one is May on the 20th in
North Valleys.
North Valleys. And then we head off to Prump and for the 27th of the same month, of this month of May. And then we go down to Henderson on the 3rd. And that's RepublicanGolfClassic.com.
Great. Great talking to you. I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot more of you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, vote for me. Vote for Hawkins.com, or just go to ourfreedomofchoice.com. That way you can find out more about what I'm doing, and for also our other Republicans. Thank you very much.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Meet the Candidate. If you could, go up here and subscribe, and over here and check out some of our other interviews.